Welcome. Today we answer one plain question first. What is an ELSS tax saver fund? By the end you will say, in investor language, what it is, why people call it a tax saver, what the money mainly buys, what catch people miss, and what the label does not cover. Only after that plain meaning will we separate a tax nickname from equity risk and use product, constraint, and tax as three reading lenses. This matters when a label sounds protective, but the portfolio still moves with shares. This is investor education, not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any fund. Here is the plain meaning you came for. An ELSS tax saver fund is a type of equity mutual fund sold in India. People call it a tax saver because investing in an ELSS may qualify for a tax deduction under the tax rules that apply to that investor and that date, commonly discussed under Section 80C style savings deductions in India. Treat that as dated tax law. Recheck the current rules for you and for today. This lesson does not invent a permanent rupee limit or freeze a benefit number from memory. The fund puts money mainly into shares, that is, equity, so the net asset value can rise and fall. The tax saver nickname does not mean safer equity. The catch people miss. ELSS usually comes with a statutory lock-in. Units are not freely redeemable until the conditions set by law are met. Reread those statutory conditions for the product and date. Do not invent a permanent years number here. And the boundary. Not every equity fund is an ELSS tax saver, and not every tax saving option is ELSS. Lock the one sentence. An ELSS tax saver fund is a type of Indian equity mutual fund that people call a tax saver because investing in it may qualify for a tax deduction under the tax rules that apply to you on that date, usually with a statutory lock-in. Keep that sentence. The nickname is about a possible tax reading under current law, not about quieter markets. Now the letters. ELSS stands for Equity-Linked Savings Scheme. Equity-linked ties to the plain story you already have. The money is linked to an equity, share, portfolio, so market value can rise and fall. Savings scheme ties to the other half. It is a mutual fund product type with statutory savings conditions attached, including the lock-in idea and the dated tax reading, not a marketing nickname alone. Put simply, the full name is the labeled wrapper for that equity plus savings product type. It is still not any equity fund, and it is still not safer just because a tax word appears nearby. Now the second half of the lesson, the myth this chapter kills. You already know what an ELSS tax saver fund is. A tax label is still not a risk label. ELSS sits on two separate axes, market risk from the equity portfolio on the left and statutory tax conditions that depend on the investor and the date on the right. People go wrong when they treat a tax word as proof the product is safer. Or when they treat every equity fund like ELSS, keep the axes apart, we will map three lenses next. Here is the map. We show three reading lenses together first, then pick each with its own picture. Lens 1, product, the equity-linked savings scheme wrapper you just defined. Lens 2, constraint, statutory lock-in and conditions. Lens 3, tax, review current law separately for the investor and date. These lenses sit beside the SEBI categorisation circular of February 26, 2026, which organizes mutual fund scheme types for investor reading. But tax benefits still follow the tax law applicable on the day you check. Watch. Establish all three, then teach one by one. Dated rules need rechecking. This is not a freeze of any benefit. Name the two axes in plain language before any checklist. Axis 1 is economic exposure. The equity portfolio can rise and fall together with the market, so market risk remains even when holdings are spread across companies. Axis 2 is the statutory and tax axis. Eligibility, lock-in, and any tax benefit depend on the product type, plus the law applicable to that investor on that date. ELSS combines equity exposure with statutory conditions, but combining them in one product does not merge the questions. Keep risk reading on the left path and tax reading on the right path. Product as its own lens. You already know ELSS expands to equity-linked savings scheme, and you already know the plain tax saver job. Now treat that name as the wrapper label you are reading. The product label tells you which wrapper you have. It does not, by itself, tell you how risky the current portfolio feels, what the next return will be, or that every other equity fund shares the same tax treatment. Under the February 2026 SEBI categorization context, scheme type labels help you compare products. Then you still open the offer documents. Read the stated product type first. Do not skip from the word equity straight to a tax conclusion. Constraint as its own idea. An ELSS carries statutory lock-in and other conditions set by law, not by a fund house marketing slide. Lock-in means units are not freely redeemable until those statutory conditions are met. That liquidity constraint is real economic friction for the investor, and it is still not the same question as how volatile the equity portfolio is day to day. Do not invent a permanent number from memory in this lesson. Reread the current statutory conditions applicable to the product and date. The constraint lens asks what the law requires of this wrapper, not whether the manager will outperform. Tax as the third lens. Tax rules and any tax benefit for an ELSS must be checked under the law applicable to that investor and that date. A product label is a starting clue, not a permanent tax certificate. Do not infer every equity fund's tax treatment from ELSS, and do not infer economic risk from a tax label. Under the SEBI February 2026 categorization circular, scheme categories help you place the product among equity types. They do not replace a dated tax law check. Keep a dated review marker on this axis whenever the conversation turns to benefit. Work this decision together from the disclosure, not from a performance promise. Here is an illustrative case, not a real scheme and not a recommendation. Someone assumes every equity fund has the same tax treatment as ELSS because both hold shares. First, recall the plain job. ELSS is a named equity mutual fund type, not every equity fund. Next, identify the portfolio exposure separately from the wrapper and read statutory lock-in only for the actual product type. Finally, check the current law for the investor and date. The answer is, equity exposure does not make every equity fund ELSS, and an ELSS label does not freeze tax rules forever. The trap is using a tax label as a shortcut for economic risk or for every equity product. Keep this opposing case. The wrong reading skips the plain meaning, then uses a tax label as a shortcut for economic risk, or assumes every equity product is ELSS. The natural reading starts from the job card. Equity mutual fund, possible dated deduction, statutory lock-in, clear boundaries, then separates equity exposure from dated tax rules, then checks stated product rules, current portfolio, costs, and liquidity. A product label is a starting point for due diligence, not permanent proof of outcome. Recheck dated rules under the applicable tax law and under the SEBI categorization circular rather than freezing any benefit from memory. Here is the explanation to keep. An ELSS tax saver fund is a type of Indian equity mutual fund that people call a tax saver because investing in it may qualify for a tax deduction under the tax rules that apply to you on that date, usually with a statutory lock-in. ELSS means Equity-Linked Savings Scheme. The tax saver nickname is not a risk label. Keep product, constraint, and tax as separate lenses. Equity exposure does not make every equity fund ELSS, and an ELSS label does not freeze tax rules forever. Comment with the product label that still feels unclear, subscribe for the next mutual fund lesson, and continue this lesson in the ExamMaster app. Sign up free if you are new.